Your favorite creators are lying to you. Video after video talking about the same exact thing. The narrative is so utterly ingrained into the online hiking world that it's almost impossible to avoid. I'm talking about gear videos. The most overdone topic that you can't help but watch. But why is that? You're being manipulated and you don't even know it. It's the endless cycle of new gear and, coincidentally, new problems. There's always more to have, more to buy. Most gear advice is bullshit, unimportant and designed to get you to buy, giving you a problem and selling you the solution. What we see online now isn't the reality. It isn't what hiking is about, and I want you to know the truth. This might be the most important video you watch as a hiker in the modern world. Hang on there a second, that's a bold claim to make. Well, it takes one to know one. When I first started making videos, I was sucked into the promise of joining the gear conversation. It's low effort, easily repeatable, and rewards you with massive exposure and sponsorship opportunities. It's the obvious pathway for any creator interested in hiking. It's a direct path to what many people see as success. You look around and it's what everyone else does. It's the overarching theme. It's why if you scroll hiking YouTube, for example, over 90% of videos are going to be talking about gear in some form or another. And if the narrative is entirely focused on gear, you, the audience, are going to think that it's important. After all, it's the only thing that you see. It's a bubble. The problem is, it achieves nothing, and it doesn't serve you one bit. I've discussed this topic at length before because I believe it is one of the most important lessons, or if not the most important lesson that I can teach you to be able to de-influence, if you will, your relationship with hiking. And it all starts with understanding how these creators are capturing your attention. Hiking gear videos are designed to exploit your psychology, your desire for more. It's why the gear review is so compelling, why we can't stop shopping, and it's by design. Consumerism is the continuous acquisition of goods and services. It's a foundational ideology of the industrial world. The art of buying more and more, but seemingly never having enough. If you were somehow satisfied with having enough, then consumerism would fail. The cycle of buying would end. That is why you are made to feel as though you always need more, for whatever fabricated reason, for the pursuit of some ideal, or for sociological reasons. Being a part of the gear conversation is validating. We align our identity with brands and place undue value on the insignificant specifics about what we use. Gear reviews, or otherwise peer pressure, approves or disapproves of our purchases. This psychological phenomenon is known as tribal affiliation. It's why the gear review is so compelling, even though we mightn't be in the market to buy anything. It's why we want the best. Without the best, you feel anxious, fearful, jealous. You feel the pain and you want the solution. Conveniently, the solution is what's being sold to you, but it's a fleeting ideal. And as night follows day, there is bound to be a new best not long after you've been fleeced. This is the case with all things, not just hiking gear. We all fall for it, the exploitation of our psychology. It's almost impossible to avoid. I've even used such tactics throughout this video to capture your attention, provoking you with a pain point and opening a curiosity loop through promising you a solution. The difference is, the problem that we're addressing is genuine, not fabricated. And if it didn't resonate with you, then you wouldn't be watching this video. You are being conned into buying things that you don't need, or, in the very least, wasting your valuable time consuming pointless information. Hiking social media is now a platform with the primary purpose of promoting overconsumption rather than valuable advice, and this is not the influence that you need. If you want to truly maximize your enjoyment of hiking, you need to cut out the influence of consumerism. Firstly, I want to make it clear that gear itself is not the problem. It's undoubtedly an essential part of hiking. It's fun to be able to optimize your kit and weed out the inconveniences. Gear makes the inaccessible accessible. It partially dictates what we're able to achieve, though to an often exaggerated extent. This is why it's so easy to fall into the trap of wanting more. Remember, consuming isn't the problem, it's overconsumption. There is a point where consumption becomes overconsumption, and this is when gear acquisition crosses the point of what is necessary. That is, the threshold of gear that you unquestionably need to safely complete any given hiking objective. Accessibility, comfort, enjoyment, broadly speaking, these are the pain points that gear aims to solve. You buy or replace gear to solve one of these problems, be it one you've personally identified or one you've been given, and that is the important distinction. Over many decades of refinement, gear has become lighter, smaller, more specialized, expanding the possibilities of what can be achieved. Absolutely everything on the market today is leagues better than what was available 30 years ago, hell, even 10 years ago. As a hiker, you are spoiled for choice, and with every brand vying for your attention, how do you know what is right for you? I want to share with you a 3-step framework that will allow you to make better purchasing decisions so you can spend less time shopping and more time hiking on the trail. After all, that's what we want, isn't it? This couch is not comfy for my back. Oh man. The law of diminishing returns is your guide to navigating the modern world of consumerism. For our purposes, it means that there is a point where further investment will produce less value relative to the cost of the product. This mindset is about maximizing your return on investment. For example, let's compare an Arc'teryx jacket to the rest of the market. They're all Gore-Tex hard shells. They all do the same thing. Sure, the offering from Arc'teryx might be considered the best, which is debatable, but does the massive jump in price justify the slight increase in performance? I'd argue not. You're paying a lot more for not a lot more. As a beginner buying into the hobby, you want to make sure that the gear you purchase has the best possible cost-benefit ratio. This allows you to future-proof your investment. Don't go out and fill your cart with the cheapest possible option. This is just landfill, designed to be replaced. Rather, spend that little bit extra and you'll be rewarded with lasting quality. Irrespective of brand, they all make good stuff. Think to a distant hiking goal you may have and buy gear suitable for that hike. That way, you won't have to worry about upgrading your equipment for the foreseeable future. It's once we've already bought into the cycle of consumerism that we need to be extra vigilant. It's all too easy to fall prey for shiny object syndrome, but we have to put our situation into perspective. Is the offering going to fundamentally change anything about the way in which we hike? The likely answer is no. If you've maximized the value exchange of your investment, it is unlikely that there's going to be a better offer that will warrant replacing what you already have. Don't be convinced that what you have isn't good enough. The next framework is perfectly summarized by this quote by Richard Koch. Most of what exists in the universe has little value and yields little result. On the other hand, a few things work fantastically well and have tremendous impact. This absolutely rings true for hiking gear, among many other things. Innovation is abundant in the world of hiking gear. Just look to the recent refinements of trekking pole tents by Durston Gear, or the sudden popularity of quilts. These designs are substantially divergent from the norm, and investment is easy to justify, for good and for bad. If your tent is past its prime, bulky, and excessively heavy, then a tent like the offerings from Durston Gear will seem superior in practically every sense of the word. Upgrading your tent in this scenario will have tremendous impact. Yet, if you already own a modern, lightweight hiking tent, that decision mightn't make so much sense. Even though the designs are substantially different, upgrading your tent in this scenario would yield little result. Categorically, every comparable piece of equipment achieves the same result. But there comes a point where the benefits of one product over another are undeniable. These are the products that deserve your attention. But without experience, and perhaps even without the insights of others, these products are hard to identify. Excuse me. The return of the king. Even with these defensive frameworks, you're still vulnerable to deceptive marketing. New gear is compelling, and compounded by external factors, desires, validation, and ultimately a society that supports overconsumption, it's easy to give in, unless you have conviction. The first step towards overconsumption is the act of consuming content. Social media hypnotizes you into thinking like a consumer. Those external pressures become amplified because you're shown a curated feed. Watch one gear review, you're bound to be shown more. So, how do you gain conviction? Through experience. It is absolutely vital that you value your own experience above that of anything you read or view online. Even that from me. And if you don't have experience, prioritize getting more. Experience lets you accurately judge the law of diminishing returns, and it lets you identify those rare and exceedingly valuable items that will actually have a positive impact on your hiking journey. Why is that? Because you'll become skeptical of products that solve a problem you know you don't have. It sounds simple, but it's often the simple solutions that are the most effective and the ones that we neglect. The more experience you have, the more knowledgeable you become. Knowledge weighs nothing, yet is the most important thing that you can take with you on any hike. With knowledge and experience comes clarity. You know what's best for you and your unique situation.
Hi, Billy Mays here for the Little Country Handy Pillow. Are you tired of sitting in limbo? Lost somewhere between planes of existence? Well, now there's a product that can help you.
Somebody shut his
mouth. I can't take it anymore.
I alluded to this earlier, but once you have a firm grasp of the previous topics and a well-tuned bullshit radar, the internet can provide you with useful information. You've just got to know where to look and what to look for. Creators who teach you how to use your gear, who show you how it works and why it works. These are the guys who deserve your attention because they're teaching you something of value. This is a stark contrast to creators who essentially have glorified shopping channels, pulling gear off of an endless conveyor belt, somehow convincing you that it's better than the last thing that they sold you. I want to hear from people who genuinely use the gear that they recommend. The person who spent 1,000 nights in the same tent, or the athletes who are pushing the bounds of mountaineering. Sponsored or not, proven usage demonstrates the effectiveness of a product, and this isn't something that you can fake. Yet, in my opinion, the most useful investment you can make towards your hiking journey, the one that provides the best returns but is so often overlooked, has nothing to do with gear at all. And no other creator is going to tell you this. I'm talking about training. If only people spent as much time training as they did researching gear, the outcome would be transformative. The $50 that I spent on the book Training for the New Alpinism is the most profitable investment I've made towards my hiking journey. Religiously following a structured training program will do far more for you than any amount of gear ever will. Do not neglect this. Prioritizing your health is one thing you will never regret. Month after month of hard training is a lot more difficult than sitting on your ass, clicking add to cart, and hoping that the next piece of gear you buy will suddenly fix all of your problems. It won't. At the end of the day, we want to enjoy hiking, and having a healthy, functional body will allow you to enjoy hiking to a far greater extent than any amount of gear ever will. Gear review content is a dangerous game. It's all too easy to fall for the promise of the best, to buy and consume well beyond what is necessary, to feel validated, to alleviate fear and doubt, chasing solutions to a problem that you've been sold. Being in nature is a means for us to escape normal life, not to have it follow us into the wild, worrying about the specifics of our jacket or the tent that we're using. Hiking isn't only about gear. Gear is just a small part of the puzzle. The modern day hyperfixation on endless consuming has nothing to do with hiking, and I hope now that you can see that. Don't be influenced by others who think that shopping for hiking is more important than the activity itself. It isn't about preparedness or having reliable equipment. It's an addiction. It's consuming beyond what is necessary, and it isn't something to advocate for. Use the lessons I've taught you throughout this video to make the right purchases, and then forget about your gear. Get out there, gain experience, get fit, and enjoy yourself. That is what hiking is about, and that is the influence that I want to have on you. I'm sure that this won't be the last time I talk about this subject, but again, I truly believe that this is the most important advice that I can give you. In future videos, I may delve into the specifics of the how and why behind gear, but this entirely depends on if you want to see it, so let me know. Otherwise, you've heard enough from me. Subscribe if you like what I have to say, and go on a walk or something.